Hello, good evening. You're watching ITV News Central. It's emerged a paedophile doctor who abused children in his care in Cambridge worked as a scout leader in Birmingham. Mars Bradbury was sentenced to 22 years in prison yesterday. A woman who worked with Bradbury in the scout movement in Birmingham has told ITV News she's angry that the association haven't been more proactive in letting people know about his involvement in the organisation. Charlotte Grant reports.
He is the cancer specialist who preyed on young patients. But as Dr. Mars Bradbury spent his first day in prison, more details have emerged about the convicted paedophile.
It identified that we were leaders.
Sheila Musgrave didn't know him as a doctor, but as a scout leader in Birmingham. For several years, she would see him regularly on scout camps and meetings. Today, she told ITV News about the man she had regarded as a friend.
From the way Miles presented himself, the way he interacted with the young people, with the adults, there was never any concern on my part. Even with hindsight, there's nothing that's jumped up and said, ooh. So no, there is nothing that I'm aware of that was a cause for concern and should have been at that point in time.
But despite this, Sheila says she's angry the Scout Association hasn't been more open about Bradbury's role within the organisation.
To me, it appears that they have chosen to believe that nothing happened because there is no evidence that anything happened. And maybe they're comfortable with that, but as an individual, I'm not comfortable with that. Those young people were in my care. If something did happen, and by staying silent, that would make me complicit in that, and I couldn't live with myself.
It is known that before moving to Cambridge, Dr. Bradbury was a consultant here at Birmingham Children's Hospital from 2004 to 2008. The hospital says there were no allegations at the time and have set up a helpline for concerned families. While Cambridgeshire Police, who've been investigating his background, say they are aware of his scouting connections in Birmingham. Today, the Scout Association condemned his actions and confirmed he was involved in the Scouts for 9 years. In a statement, they said, "We have not been made aware of Bradbury being involved in any inappropriate behaviour whilst he was a member of our organisation. We've not been advised by the police of any concerns relating to Bradbury's time in the Scout movement. We continue to work in partnership with both forces." The Scout Association carries out stringent vetting of all adults who work with young people. But Sheila believes the Scout Association need to do more.
I think there has to be some kind of check or opportunity for people to come forward. Without that, we are just hoping.
Sheila says speaking out wasn't a decision she took lightly. She believes if there are any more victims, they need as much support as possible. Charlotte Grant, ITV News.
A man's been found guilty of trying to kill a woman who refused to marry him. Barrett Soma followed his ex-partner and her new partner through Leicester and tried to slit their throats after she backed out of an arranged marriage. Daryl Murphy reports.
Barrett Soma felt he had been dishonoured. The woman he thought he was going to marry had found someone else. Darshana Narottam, who's 18, had moved to the East Midlands with her new boyfriend, Prashant Govinda. This was the moment they were caught on CCTV in London, running away to start a new life together. In January this year, they were shopping in East Park Road in Leicester with a 15-year-old boy. They were unaware 26-year-old Soma, shown here in red, had tracked them down. He attacked them from behind, slitting Miss Narottam's throat before stabbing Mr. Govinda in the neck. As they lay on the pavement afterwards with horrific injuries, the couple thought they were going to die. And detectives say it was a pure fluke. They didn't.
Hopefully now they'll be able to move on from this. It obviously had a massive impact on their lives and has changed everything about their day-to-day living. They've had to move away to different areas and be away from the people that were supposed to be close to them.
Today, Soma was found guilty of 2 counts of attempted murder and of assaulting the 15-year-old boy who suffered minor injuries. He's due to be sentenced tomorrow. Daryl Murphy, ITV News.
The government confirmed today how a £2.3 billion package to improve flood defences announced earlier this year will be spent, with some money coming to the West Midlands. It's 10 months since the people of Worcester had to deal with weeks of flooding. Callum Watkinson has been back there to see whether they're happy with the details of today's announcement.
The floods that overwhelmed Worcester at the beginning of the year saw the army called in, homes washed out and businesses closed down. Indy Singh's bar and hotel among them.
It damaged everything, like from the floors so far up, and it was just repainting, damage to the furniture, damage to the equipment and everything. We were shut for about 7 weeks, I think, all in all, and it was just a difficult time.
So it's welcome news that part of a pot of flood defence spending is heading Worcester's way, though not a huge part. A project to repair this culvert, which carries a stream underneath a local golf course, will receive £345,000. A further £320,000 will go towards flood defences throughout the city. That's £665,000 to be spent in Worcester, out of a total pot of £2.3 billion. A drop in the ocean, you might say, but nobody here feels overlooked.
We've had help in the past. It's got to be said that previous governments have helped us with flood defences, and this is something we're very grateful for.
So definitely enough?
Never enough. The River Severn, one of our greatest rivers, can be really angry at times, and we'd never control it, but we're very pleased with the money that's been provided.
That's absolutely brilliant, that is, because that would help a lot, that would, because I think we've got flood defences coming as well, so that should help us solve the problem.
The government says this spending will help protect 300,000 homes across the country, but their own climate advisors recently warned there's a £500 million shortfall between what's been spent in this Parliament and what is needed to cope with this kind of thing. Callum Watkinson, ITV News, Worcester.
A mother who was rescued from a flat fire in Kidderminster has died in hospital. 22-year-old Sandra Nawkinska was in the apartment above a shop on the Horse Fair when it caught fire on Thursday night. Her 5-year-old son was also injured in the blaze. He remains in a serious but stable condition. A 41-year-old man arrested in connection with the fire has now been released on bail. A second man has been charged with the murder of a missing Romanian woman who lived in Sandwell. Lydia Pascal was last seen in West Bromwich 2 weeks ago. Police say she'd been living in the UK for around a year at addresses in Smethwick and Coventry. Thomas Ricketts from Penn in Wolverhampton has been charged with her murder. 32-year-old Matthew Charrington was remanded in custody yesterday after appearing in court charged with her murder. A man from Cheltenham has lost his appeal to have his life sentence for the murder of his ex-girlfriend overturned. Asher Maslin was sentenced to a minimum of 24 years in prison after admitting stabbing to death Holly Gazzard while she was working at a hair salon in Gloucester in February. Afterwards, Holly's family said they were pleased the sentence had been upheld.
On Tuesday, February the 18th, our lives were destroyed. Since that day, a part of us has died, and our lives will never be the same. These past months since Holly's death have been difficult for all of us, and the idea of Maslin lodging a successful appeal against this sentence was almost too much to bear.
One of the 5 schools in Birmingham placed into special measures following the so-called Trojan horse allegations of a Muslim takeover plot is to join a National Academy chain. The education charity ARC will take over Old No Academy in September. Some of the governors at the school in Smallheath were accused by Ofsted of promoting a narrow faith-based ideology. The charity says the school will remain non-selective, non-religious and mixed. Football now, and it's been a very busy night. In the Premier League this evening, bottom club Leicester lost 3-1 at home to Liverpool, with Steven Gerrard scoring his first goal since September. Stoke lost 2-1 at Manchester United. Aston Villa ended their run of 9 matches without a win by beating Crystal Palace 1-0 tonight, and West Brom suffered their 4th straight defeat, losing 2-1 at home to West Ham. Well, let's take a look at what the weather's going to be doing now. Here's Helen Flint with the forecast.
Wishing you a warm winter. Solar PV from Northern Gas Heating sponsors the ITV local weather.
Hello again and a very good evening to you. Now, it's already starting to feel fairly raw out there, but do keep piling on those layers because it's going to be very cold overnight tonight. In fact, you can see those clear skies allowing temperatures to drop right down to -1, possibly even -2 in more sheltered spots. So particularly for those further west and north, that's where we'll see the sharpest frost developing overnight tonight. So as I say, wrap up warm tomorrow morning because it's going to feel very chilly indeed. But of course, the trade-off is those lovely clear skies from the off, particularly in the north, where we'll see some sunshine all the day through. Elsewhere, a little bit more cloud bubbling up later on.
Solar PV from Northern Gas Heating sponsors the ITV local weather.
And that's all we've got time for tonight. Don't forget to check out the website for more updates. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.